Ever feel weighed down by the opinions of others? Welcome to Stoicism and the Art of Not Caring. Today, let's dive into the ancient wisdom of the Stoics and learn how to liberate yourself from external pressures and judgments. So if you are ready to master the art of not caring and live a more authentic life, like this video and let's get started. Number 1. Acceptance of fate. Picture this, you're cruising through life, and suddenly, bam! A curveball gets thrown your way. Maybe it's a job loss, a breakup, or even just a bad day. Now, instead of throwing a tantrum or feeling defeated, imagine embracing whatever life hurls at you with open arms. Sounds wild, right? But that's the essence of acceptance of fate. Epictetus had this rock-solid belief that we should roll with whatever life throws at us. He wasn't saying to just sit back and let life trample all over you, but rather, to acknowledge that some things are simply beyond our control. Think about it, if you waste your energy fighting against the inevitable, you're just setting yourself up for frustration. Instead, Epictetus taught that true strength comes from accepting the twists and turns of fate with a calm and steady mind. Imagine treating life like a river. Sometimes, the current is smooth and easy, and other times, it's a raging torrent. You can't control the flow, but you can control how you navigate it. Epictetus would say, don't try to swim against the current. Instead, adjust your sails and go with the flow. This acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up, it means you're wise enough to understand that resisting the unchangeable is futile. Acceptance of fate isn't about being passive. Far from it. It's about recognizing the distinction between what you can control and what you can't. Your thoughts, actions, and responses? Totally within your realm of influence. But the actions of others, the weather, or the economy? Not so much. When you internalize this, you free yourself from unnecessary anguish. But here's the kicker, acceptance doesn't come naturally. Our instinct is to react, to resist, to fight back. It takes practice to reach that Zen state where you can say, all right, this is happening. How am I going to deal with it? It's like building muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it gets. You might wonder, does accepting fate mean you should just shrug off bad things and move on? Not quite. It's about understanding that while you can't control external events, you can control how you perceive and respond to them. Imagine being in a storm. You can't stop the rain, but you can decide whether you're going to get drenched or find shelter. When life throws a wrench in your plans, acceptance allows you to adapt rather than crumble. It's like being a tree that bends in the wind rather than breaking. This flexibility makes you resilient. You bounce back faster and stronger. Incorporating acceptance of fate into your life brings a sense of peace. It's like a weight lifting off your shoulders. No more struggling against what you can't change. Instead, you focus on your own power and agency. Epictetus believed that this mindset not only makes you more resilient but also happier. You stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable and channel it into what truly matters. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of Epictetus' wisdom. Embrace the chaos, adjust your sails, and ride the waves with grace. You've got this. Number 2, self-discipline. Self-discipline isn't just about having a rigid schedule or denying yourself pleasures. It's more about building a strong inner fortress, where you call the shots, not your impulses. Think about it. How often do we let our desires run the show? You know, like when you binge watch an entire series even though you've got a ton of work to do, or when you reach for that extra slice of cake knowing full well it's against your fitness goals. We've all been there. Self-discipline is like having a wise mentor inside your head saying, hey, maybe there's a better choice here. Epictetus, with his no-nonsense approach, would tell us that self-discipline is about freedom. Yeah, you heard that right, freedom. It's not about restricting yourself. Instead, It's about breaking free from the chains of your whims and fancies. When you master self-discipline, you're not at the mercy of every fleeting urge. You become the captain of your ship. Now, let's make this a bit more tangible. Imagine you're a warrior. Every day, you're in training, honing your skills, sharpening your sword. You don't do it because someone's making you. You do it because you know that discipline and practice means excellence in battle. That's how Epictetus viewed self-discipline, as daily training for the bigger battles of life. But here's the thing, self-discipline doesn't just show up one day and decide to stick around. It's something you cultivate. It starts small. Maybe today, you decide to wake up just 10 minutes earlier. Tomorrow, you skip the extra helping of dessert. These tiny victories build up, and before you know it, you've got a solid foundation of discipline. Epictetus would probably say, don't aim for perfection right off the bat. Aim for progress. It's easy to get discouraged if you set the bar too high and stumble. But if you take it step by step, those little wins keep you motivated. Each time you choose to act in line with your goals, you're flexing that self-discipline muscle. And let's be real, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. There will be days when you slip, when the call of the couch is louder than the call of the gym. Epictetus wouldn't want you to beat yourself up over it. Instead, he'd nudge you to learn from it. What threw you off course? How can you avoid it next time? Every setback is just another part of the training. So, why is self-discipline so crucial according to Epictetus? Because it builds resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges will come, and when they do, the disciplined mind can navigate through the storm without losing its course. It's like having a sturdy ship, you can sail through rough seas and still stay on track. Incorporating self-discipline into your life brings a sense of empowerment. You start to trust yourself more. You know that no matter what life throws at you, you've got the inner strength to handle it. This confidence spills over into every aspect of your life, work, relationships, personal growth. In the end, self-discipline isn't about living a life of deprivation. It's about making choices that align with your values and goals, consistently. It's about having the strength to say no to short-term pleasures in favor of long-term fulfillment. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, one disciplined choice at a time. So, start small, stay consistent, and keep the bigger picture in mind. Channel your inner Epictetus, and let self-discipline be your guide to a life of purpose and resilience. You've got the power within you, now go ahead and unleash it. Number 3, practice humility. Humility, it's one of those virtues that's easy to talk about but tough to master. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, had a lot to say about it. So, how can we embrace humility to the point where nothing shakes us? First off, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's not about putting yourself down or shrinking away from challenges. No, it's more about having an honest understanding of your place in the grand scheme of things. The universe is vast, and our lives are just a tiny blip on the radar. When we keep this in mind, our ego takes a back seat. Imagine you're walking through a forest. Each tree stands tall and proud, but it doesn't compete with the tree next to it. They all simply exist, fulfilling their purpose without fuss. That's humility, standing tall, knowing your worth, but not feeling the need to shout it from the rooftops. In our daily lives, humility can be a game changer. Think about conversations with others. Are we genuinely listening, or just waiting for our turn to speak? Humility nudges us to really hear others out, valuing their words and perspectives. It's about recognizing that everyone has something to teach us. Yes, even that annoying coworker or the person with the differing opinion. Now, humility also means accepting that we don't have all the answers. It's liberating, actually. When we admit we don't know something, we open ourselves up to learning and growth. It's like clearing space in a cluttered room. Suddenly there's room for new, exciting things to come in. Epictetus was big on this. He believed that arrogance is a barrier to wisdom. When we think we know it all, we stop seeking knowledge. Humility, on the other hand, keeps us curious and eager to learn. It keeps our minds open and our hearts soft. Another aspect is how we handle praise and criticism. Humility helps us take both in stride. Praise? We can appreciate it without letting it inflate our egos. Criticism? We can accept it without letting it crush our spirits. We see both for what they are, fleeting moments of feedback that don't define our worth. Let's not forget humility in the face of adversity. When things go south, it's easy to feel like the universe is picking on us. But humility reminds us that everyone faces challenges. It's not personal. It's just life. By accepting this, we can focus on how to move forward instead of getting bogged down by self-pity. Humility also shapes our goals and ambitions. It's not about aiming low, but about striving with a clear, realistic view of our strengths and weaknesses. We aim high, but we do so with a grounded perspective, ready to adapt and learn along the way. Lastly, humility is about gratitude. When we acknowledge our smallness, we begin to appreciate the little things more. We see beauty in the mundane, find joy in simple acts, and become more present in our everyday lives. In essence, practicing humility is like tuning an instrument. It brings harmony and balance to our lives, helping us navigate the ups and downs with grace. It keeps us grounded, curious, and open-hearted. And in doing so, it strengthens our resilience, making us less susceptible to the emotional storms that life inevitably throws our way. So, take a leaf from Epictetus' book and embrace humility. Your future self will thank you. Number 4, focus on duty. According to Epictetus, focusing on our duty can act like an anchor, keeping us steady no matter what chaos life throws our way. So, what exactly is this duty we're talking about? It's not some grand, heroic mission necessarily. It's about doing what's in front of us, handling our responsibilities, and fulfilling our roles, big or small, with integrity and dedication. Imagine it's like playing your part in a massive orchestra. You're not always the soloist, but your part matters just as much. First things first, focusing on duty means we get clarity. It cuts through the noise of what we want to do or feel like doing and zeroes in on what we ought to do. And let's be real, in today's world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, endless to-do lists, and the constant buzz of social media can pull us in a million directions. But when we hone in on our duty, it's like putting on a pair of noise-canceling headphones. We start seeing what truly matters and what's just fluff. Now, embracing our duty isn't about drudgery. It's not about grimly going through the motions. It's more about finding purpose and satisfaction in our actions. Even the most mundane tasks can take on new meaning when we view them through the lens of duty. Instead of thinking, ugh, I have to do this, it becomes, this is my role, and I'm going to own it. Think of it as cultivating a sense of pride and ownership in whatever you do. Whether you're washing dishes, working on a project, or helping someone out, do it with a sense of purpose. This mindset shift is powerful. It transforms tasks into opportunities for excellence and personal growth. Suddenly, the mundane isn't so mundane anymore. Epictetus teaches us that focusing on duty also helps us manage our expectations. We can't control the outcome of every situation, but we can control our actions. By zeroing in on what we can do, our duties, we liberate ourselves from the burden of worrying about things beyond our control. It's like freeing up mental real estate. You're no longer stressed about how things will turn out because you're putting your energy into what you can actually influence. Moreover, duty provides a kind of emotional armor. When we're wrapped up in our roles and responsibilities, we're less likely to be swayed by fleeting emotions or external pressures. Think about it. If you're deeply invested in doing your job well, you're less likely to be thrown off course by a rude comment or a minor setback. Your focus is on fulfilling your duty, not on the ups and downs of external validation. Another perk of focusing on duty is that it fosters a sense of community and interconnectedness. When we all commit to our roles and responsibilities, society functions smoothly. It's like being part of a well-oiled machine. Each part plays its role, and the whole system benefits. This sense of being part of something bigger than ourselves can be incredibly fulfilling. But here's the kicker: focusing on duty doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. It's about being adaptable and responsive to what's needed. Sometimes, our duty may shift or expand, and that's okay. What matters is our willingness to step up and meet those challenges head-on. In summary, focusing on duty according to Epictetus isn't about sacrifice or loss of freedom. It's about gaining clarity, purpose, and resilience. It's about turning everyday actions into meaningful contributions. By embracing our duties, we not only improve ourselves but also strengthen the fabric of our communities. So, let's take a page from Epictetus and make our duties our North Star. It's a surefire way to stay grounded and unshakable, no matter what life throws at us. Number 5. Foster community. Picture this: you're sitting around a campfire with your closest friends. The fire crackles, the stars twinkle above, and there's a sense of belonging that warms your heart. That's what fostering community is all about, and Epictetus knew it was key to living a fulfilling life. You see, Epictetus was big on the idea that humans are social creatures. We're not meant to go through life as lone wolves, battling our problems in solitude. Nope, we thrive when we're connected, when we have people to share our joys and our burdens. It's like having a safety net. When you stumble, there's someone to catch you. And when you soar, there's someone cheering you on. But fostering a community isn't just about hanging out and having a good time. It's about building deep, meaningful connections. It's about creating a network of trust and support. Think of it as planting a garden. You don't just toss some seeds around and hope for the best. You nurture those plants, water them, give them sunlight, and, over time, you get a beautiful, thriving garden. Epictetus would argue that fostering community is a deliberate act. It means being there for others, not just when it's convenient, but when it's needed. It means showing up, lending an ear, offering a hand. When you invest in your community, you're investing in yourself too. The support you give comes back to you, sometimes when you least expect it. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you foster community? It starts with small, intentional actions. Maybe it's inviting a neighbor over for coffee, or checking in on a friend you haven't heard from in a while. It's about making the effort to connect, even when life gets busy. And it's about being genuine. People can sense when you're being real versus when you're just going through the motions. In fostering a community, empathy plays a huge role. Epictetus would tell us to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Try to understand their struggles, their joys, their dreams. When you approach others with empathy, you break down barriers. You create a space where people feel seen and heard. And that's powerful. Another aspect of fostering community is inclusivity. Epictetus believed in the inherent worth of every individual. He'd encourage us to welcome people from all walks of life into our circles. It's easy to stick with people who are just like us, but there's so much richness in diversity. Different perspectives challenge us, help us grow, and broaden our understanding of the world. But let's be real, building and maintaining a community isn't always easy. There will be conflicts, misunderstandings, and disagreements. That's just part of the deal. The key is to handle these bumps in the road with grace. Epictetus would advise us to approach conflicts with a calm mind and an open heart. Listen more than you speak. Seek common ground. Remember that at the end of the day, we're all in this together. Fostering a community also means celebrating together. Whether it's a small win or a major milestone, sharing these moments with others amplifies the joy. It creates memories that bind us together. It reminds us that life's highs are even higher when they're shared. So, why is fostering community so crucial according to Epictetus? Because it anchors us. It gives us a sense of belonging, a feeling that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. It provides support during tough times and amplifies happiness during good times. It's a reminder that we're never truly alone. In the end, fostering a community is about weaving a web of connections that support and uplift everyone involved. It's about creating a tapestry of relationships that enrich our lives. So, take the time to nurture your community. Be present, be genuine, be empathetic. And watch how these connections transform your life. You're part of this incredible human experience. Let's make the most of it, together. Number 6, detach from outcome. So, why should we detach from outcomes? First off, let's get one thing straight. It's not about apathy or not caring. It's about caring deeply, but not letting the result define you. Imagine this, you're working hard on a project. You've poured your heart and soul into it. Naturally, you want it to succeed. But here's the kicker, you don't control all the variables. There are countless factors outside your grasp. The Stoic wisdom here is to recognize this and shift your focus from the end result to the process itself. Think about it like this, you're an artist, painting a masterpiece. Your job is to pick the colors, hold the brush, and put your vision on the canvas. Once the painting is done, how people perceive it, that's out of your hands. The critics, the buyers, the gallery, all of that is beyond your control. Your focus should be on the act of painting, the joy of creation, and the effort you put in. When we detach from the outcome, we reduce a lot of unnecessary stress. It's like this huge weight lifting off your shoulders. You're no longer fretting over things you can't influence. Instead, you're pouring your energy into what you can actually do. It's empowering, really. You reclaim your peace of mind, and paradoxically, you often end up performing better because you're not bogged down by anxiety about the results. Now, this doesn't mean we should aim low or avoid setting goals. Goals are important, they give us direction and motivation. The trick is to be passionate about your efforts while remaining indifferent to the outcome. Sounds like a tightrope walk, right? But with practice, it becomes a liberating dance. Epictetus taught that our true power lies in our actions and reactions. We can't control the winds, but we can adjust our sails. Imagine navigating a ship. Your job is to steer, to keep an eye on the horizon, and to respond to the changing tides. Whether you reach your destination or face a storm, that's not entirely up to you. What matters is how you handle the journey. Detaching from outcomes also means embracing uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and that's part of its beauty. When we stop clinging to specific results, we open ourselves up to unexpected opportunities and experiences. It's like letting go of a rigid script and being open to improvisation. You might find that what the universe has in store is even better than what you envisioned. Another aspect of this principle is handling failure and success with the same grace. When you're not attached to the outcome, failure isn't a crushing blow. It's a lesson, a stepping stone. And success? It's a milestone, not the end-all be-all. You celebrate it, learn from it, and move on to the next challenge. So, how do we cultivate this mindset? It starts with mindfulness. Being present in the moment, fully engaged in what you're doing, and gently reminding yourself that the outcome is out of your hands. It's also about self-reflection, understanding why you do what you do, and finding fulfillment in the effort itself. In essence, detaching from outcomes is about reclaiming your power. It's about finding peace in the process and joy in the journey. It's a mindset that says, I'll do my best and accept whatever comes. It's liberating, it's empowering, and it's a cornerstone of living a resilient, unshakable life. So next time you're faced with a challenge, remember Epictetus. Focus on what you can control, let go of the rest, and see how much lighter you feel. Number 7, control what you can. Next, let's dive into one of the most fundamental principles of Stoicism, controlling what you can. Epictetus often said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And isn't that the truth? You can't control the traffic, the weather, or that one coworker who always seems to know how to push your buttons. But you can control how you respond. That's where your power lies. Imagine life as a giant buffet. There's a lot of stuff on the table, some of it delicious, some not so much. Now, you can't control what's being served, but you can choose what to put on your plate. Focus on the dishes you can handle. This is the essence of controlling what you can. Let's break it down a bit. There are things in life we have complete control over, like our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Then there are things we have zero control over, like the past, other people's opinions, and natural disasters. The magic happens when you start focusing your energy on that first category. Have you ever noticed how draining it is to worry about things you can't change? It's like trying to hold water in your hands. No matter how tight you grip, it slips through your fingers. But when you shift your focus to what you can control, it's empowering. It's like grabbing a bucket instead. You start to feel more grounded, more in charge. Take your daily routine, for example. You can't control if it rains, but you can control if you bring an umbrella. You can't control if your boss is in a bad mood, but you can control your work ethic and attitude. Small changes in mindset can lead to big shifts in how you experience life. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, our emotions. Controlling what you can doesn't mean becoming a robot without feelings. It's about recognizing when emotions are taking the wheel and gently guiding them back to the passenger seat. If someone cuts you off in traffic, your initial reaction might be anger. But after a moment, you can choose to let it go, realizing that your peace of mind is more valuable than a brief bout of road rage. This principle of controlling what you can is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Next time something annoys you, pause and ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, take a deep breath and let it be. If yes, take action. Remember, life will throw curveballs. It's unpredictable, often chaotic. But in the midst of it all, you have this incredible power, the power to control your response. And that, my friends, is what makes all the difference. Keep practicing, keep refining this skill, and watch how it transforms your life. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, big or small, channel your inner stoic and focus on what you can control. It's not about changing the world around you, but about changing your world within. That's where true freedom lies. Number 8, live according to nature. When Epictetus and the other Stoic philosophers talked about living according to nature, they weren't just suggesting we all become tree huggers, though, honestly, nothing wrong with that. What they meant was living in harmony with our own nature as human beings and the natural world around us. Think about it this way, nature has a rhythm, a flow. The sun rises and sets, seasons change, rivers flow. There's a balance, a kind of wisdom in how things work. Now, humans, with all our complexities, often fight against this flow. We stress about the future, dwell on the past, and get tangled up in things that, quite frankly, aren't natural. Living according to nature is about finding that balance and aligning ourselves with it. Picture yourself standing by a river. The water flows effortlessly around rocks and bends. It doesn't struggle against the obstacles, it moves with them. That's what we're aiming for here. Life throws rocks and bends our way all the time, but instead of fighting against them, we can learn to flow. But how do we do that in practical terms? Start by understanding your own nature. What are your strengths? Your passions? Your natural inclinations? When you live in a way that aligns with these, life starts to feel less like a constant battle and more like a dance. For instance, if you're naturally a night owl, forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. every day might feel like torture. Instead, find a rhythm that suits you. Work with your natural energy levels rather than against them. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you feel in tune with yourself. Now, let's expand this to how we interact with the world. Living according to nature also means recognizing and respecting the natural order of things. We can't control the weather, other people's actions, or random events that happen to us. But we can control how we respond to them, much like the river flowing around obstacles. Take a moment to observe nature. Notice how everything has its place and purpose. Trees don't try to be rivers, and birds don't try to be lions. Each part of nature plays its role perfectly. When we try to force ourselves into roles or lifestyles that aren't true to our nature, we create unnecessary stress and dissatisfaction. Let's get real for a second. In our modern, fast-paced world, it's easy to lose sight of this principle. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to be more, do more, buy more. But living according to nature isn't about accumulation. It's about simplicity and understanding what truly matters. Imagine a tree. It doesn't grow faster by stressing about how tall it will become. It grows by staying rooted and absorbing what it needs from the soil and sun. Similarly, we thrive when we stay grounded, nourish our minds and bodies, and allow ourselves to grow naturally. So, next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, am I living in a way that's true to my nature? Am I trying to control things that are out of my hands? Am I flowing with life or fighting against it? These reflections can be incredibly grounding. In essence, living according to nature is about embracing who you are and where you are. It's about finding your flow, like that river, and moving through life with grace and ease. When you do, you'll find that a lot of the stress and friction melts away. You start to live more fully, more authentically. And that, my friends, is the essence of Stoic wisdom. So, go out there, connect with your inner nature, and let it guide you. Remember, life is a journey meant to be experienced in harmony with the world around you. Find your rhythm, stay true to yourself, and let nature take its course. Number 9, be grateful. Gratitude, it's like this magical elixir that the Stoics, especially Epictetus, cherished. But how does it fit into the grand scheme of not letting anything affect you? Well, buckle up, because gratitude is more powerful than it seems. Gratitude is all about perspective. It's like wearing a pair of glasses that helps you see the world in a better light. When you're grateful, you're focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. It's this subtle shift in mindset that can transform your whole outlook on life. And guess what? It's not about ignoring the bad stuff, but rather about balancing it out with the good. Think about your day-to-day life. We often get caught up in a cycle of wanting more success, more money, more recognition. It's like this never-ending treadmill. But when you practice gratitude, you step off that treadmill. You start to appreciate the little things, the things you often take for granted. It's like noticing the background music in a cafe that you usually ignore. Suddenly, it adds a beautiful layer to your experience. Gratitude also acts as a buffer against negative emotions. When you're genuinely thankful, it's harder for anger, envy, or frustration to take hold. It's like trying to light a fire in the rain. The negativity just doesn't catch as easily. You're too busy appreciating what's good in your life to dwell on what's not. Now, Epictetus and the Stoics weren't about sugarcoating reality. They acknowledged life's hardships and challenges. but they believed in finding something to be grateful for, even in tough times. It's about resilience, about seeing setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. When you're grateful, you're more likely to bounce back from adversity because you recognize that every experience has something to offer. Another cool thing about gratitude? It connects you with others. When you express gratitude, you're acknowledging the impact others have on your life. It's like sending out ripples of positivity. People appreciate being appreciated, and it strengthens your relationships. It's a win-win. Plus, it's contagious. When you show gratitude, it often inspires others to do the same, creating this awesome cycle of positivity. And here's a neat trick: gratitude can shift your focus from outcomes to actions. When you're grateful for the effort you put in, rather than just the end result, you find more satisfaction in what you do. It's like enjoying the act of cooking, not just the finished meal. You start to see value in the process, which makes you more resilient to setbacks. Gratitude also has this calming effect. When you take a moment to appreciate what you have, it grounds you. It's like taking a deep breath in the middle of chaos. You find this inner peace, this sense of contentment, that helps you navigate life's ups and downs with a bit more grace. It's not about being blissfully ignorant, but about finding balance and stability. Incorporating gratitude into your daily routine doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be as simple as taking a moment each day to reflect on a few things you're thankful for, or jotting them down in a journal, or even just telling someone you appreciate them. It's these small acts that add up and create a profound impact on your mindset. So, when Epictetus talked about gratitude, he wasn't just throwing around feel-good advice. He was highlighting a powerful tool for living a resilient, balanced life. Gratitude shifts your focus, strengthens your relationships, and builds emotional resilience. It's a practice that helps you see the good amidst the bad and keeps you grounded no matter what life throws your way. Embrace gratitude, and watch how it transforms your perspective. It's like finding treasure in everyday moments. And who doesn't want a bit more treasure in their life, right? Number 10. Cultivate resilience. Resilience, it's like that inner superpower that helps you bounce back when life throws curveballs your way. And Epictetus, he had some seriously wise thoughts on how to build it up. First off, what is resilience, really? It's that ability to keep going, to get back up when you're knocked down. It's like being a rubber band, flexible, adaptable, and always ready to snap back into shape. But how do you get there? How do you cultivate this toughness of spirit? The Stoics believed it starts with your mindset. Epictetus taught that our perceptions shape our reality. Think about it. Two people can face the same challenge, but one crumbles while the other rises. The difference? How they perceive and respond to the situation. So, to build resilience, we need to train our minds to see obstacles not as insurmountable walls but as opportunities for growth. Imagine you're facing a tough situation. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, right? But what if, instead, you viewed it as a test of your strength and character? It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, that challenge becomes a proving ground, a chance to show what you're made of. This shift in perspective is at the heart of resilience. Next up, let's talk about control. The Stoics were big on understanding what's within our control and what's not. Epictetus drilled this idea home: focus on what you can change, let go of what you can't. It's liberating when you think about it. You stop wasting energy on things beyond your influence and start channeling it into areas where you can make a difference. Part of cultivating resilience is accepting that life is unpredictable. You can't control every outcome, but you can control how you respond. It's like being a surfer. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to ride them. When you embrace this mindset, you become more adaptable. Change doesn't throw you off balance because you're ready to adjust your course. Another key element is self-discipline. resilience isn't just about mental toughness, it's also about taking consistent action. It's like training for a marathon. You don't just wake up one day and run 26 miles. You build up gradually, pushing your limits a little more each time. The same goes for resilience. You build it by facing challenges head-on, even the small ones, and not shying away from discomfort. The Stoics also believed in the power of inner dialogue. What you say to yourself matters. Negative self-talk can sap your strength, while positive reinforcement can boost your resilience. It's about being your own coach, cheering yourself on through tough times. Remind yourself of past victories, of times when you overcame difficulties. This builds a reservoir of strength you can draw on when needed. Resilience is also about staying grounded. The Stoics practiced mindfulness long before it was a buzzword. Being present, fully engaged in the moment, helps you keep your bearings when things get rough. It's like having an anchor in a storm. You stay rooted, focused, and less likely to be swept away by the chaos around you. And let's not forget about the importance of community. The Stoics valued relationships and saw them as vital to a resilient life. Lean on your support network. Share your struggles, seek advice, and offer help in return. Resilience isn't about going it alone, it's about knowing when to reach out and accept support. In summary, cultivating resilience according to Epictetus is a multifaceted process. It's about mindset, control, discipline, positive self-talk, mindfulness, and community. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities, focusing on what you can control, taking consistent action, staying present, and leaning on others. So, when life throws you a curveball, and it will, remember these principles. They're like a toolkit, ready to help you bounce back stronger and wiser. Embrace resilience, and nothing will knock you down for long. Number 11, reflect daily. Finally, let's get into the practice of reflecting daily. This is one of those Stoic principles that might seem a bit abstract at first, but it's actually pretty straightforward and incredibly powerful. Epictetus, that wise old philosopher, really believed in the power of daily reflection to keep you grounded and resilient. So, why is daily reflection such a big deal? Well, think of it as a mental reset button. Every day, we go through a whirlwind of experiences, emotions, and interactions. It's easy to get lost in the chaos and lose sight of what really matters. Reflecting daily helps you hit pause, take a step back, and make sense of it all. It's like giving your mind a much-needed breather. Imagine this, at the end of the day, you find a quiet spot, maybe with a cup of tea or just in the calm of your room. You sit down and start to think about your day. What went well? What didn't? How did you react to different situations? It's like a mini debrief with yourself. You're not judging or criticizing, just observing. This simple act can bring a lot of clarity. When you reflect daily, you start to notice patterns. Maybe you realize that certain things trigger stress or anger. Or perhaps you see that you feel happiest when you're helping others. These insights are like little nuggets of wisdom that help you understand yourself better. And with this understanding, you can start to make changes. You can decide to react differently next time or to seek out more of what brings you joy. Another big benefit of daily reflection is that it keeps you aligned with your values. The Stoics believed that living according to your principles was the key to a good life. But in the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to stray off course. By reflecting daily, you remind yourself of what's important to you. It's like checking your compass to make sure you're still headed in the right direction. Now, let's talk about how to do this reflection thing. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Some people like to journal, writing down their thoughts and feelings. Others prefer to meditate, sitting quietly and letting their mind wander. You might even find that talking out loud to yourself works. The key is to find a method that feels natural to you. During your reflection, you might want to ask yourself a few questions. What did I learn today? What am I grateful for? Did I act according to my values? These questions can guide your thoughts and help you dive deeper. And remember, it's not about finding the right answers. It's about being honest with yourself and gaining insight. Reflecting daily also helps you build resilience. When you regularly take stock of your experiences, you become more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You see how you've overcome challenges in the past, which boosts your confidence to face future obstacles. It's like keeping a record of your victories and lessons learned, a personal playbook for navigating life. Lastly, daily reflection fosters a sense of gratitude. As you look back on your day, you start to appreciate the small moments of joy, the little acts of kindness, and the simple pleasures. Gratitude has a way of shifting your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. It's a powerful antidote to negativity and stress. In the next section, we will discuss people that don't deserve your trust and respect from a Stoic point of view. Number 1. The manipulative individual. Dealing with manipulative people can be a draining experience. They're like those tricky vines in a garden that wrap around everything, choking the life out of the good plants. They weave their way into your life, often without you even noticing at first. One minute you're having a normal conversation, and the next thing you know, you're tangled in their web, doing things you never intended to do, feeling things you never thought you would. So, who are these manipulative individuals? They come in all shapes and sizes. It could be that friend who always seems to have a crisis when you're busy, or that coworker who showers you with compliments only to ask for a big favor later. They're experts at reading people and figuring out exactly how to push your buttons. It's like they have this uncanny ability to sense your weaknesses and exploit them. And let's be honest, we've all got weak spots. Manipulators often use guilt as their weapon of choice. They'll make you feel responsible for their problems, subtly, or not so subtly, suggesting that if you don't help them, you're a bad person. It's insidious. You start to feel like it's your duty to fix their issues, even though deep down, you know it's not. They thrive on making you second-guess yourself, turning your empathy into a tool for their own gain. Before you know it, you're bending over backward to keep them happy, sacrificing your own well-being in the process. Let's talk about control. Manipulative people crave it. They need to feel like they're the ones calling the shots. This often means they'll twist situations to make themselves look like the victim, ensuring you stay on their side. They'll tell half-truths or straight-up lies, omitting key details that would reveal their true intentions. They're masters at creating a narrative that suits them, often leaving you feeling confused and questioning your own reality. Gaslighting, they call it. It's a mind game, and they're pros. But it's not just the lies and guilt trips that are exhausting. It's the constant emotional roller coaster. One moment, they're your best friend, showering you with praise and attention. Next, they're cold and distant, making you wonder what you did wrong. This push and pull dynamic keeps you off balance, always striving to get back in their good graces. It's a cycle of manipulation that can be incredibly hard to break free from. What's really tricky is that these people aren't always easy to spot. They can be charming, charismatic, even kind at times. They know how to present themselves in the best light, masking their manipulative tendencies until it's too late. By the time you realize what's happening, you're already deep in their game. It's like quicksand, the harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. So, what can you do? How do you protect yourself from these energy vampires? The first step is awareness. Start by recognizing the signs of manipulation, the guilt trips, the lies, the constant need for control. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore those red flags. Setting boundaries is crucial. It's not easy, especially if you're a naturally giving person. But remember, you have the right to prioritize your own well-being. It's okay to say no. It's okay to distance yourself from people who drain your energy. You're not obligated to solve everyone's problems. Surround yourself with genuine, supportive people who value you for who you are, not what you can do for them. Build a network of friends and loved ones who lift you up rather than drag you down. And don't be afraid to seek help if you need it. Talking to a therapist or counselor can provide valuable insight and support. In the end, you deserve to live a life free from manipulation and control. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect and trust. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing to invest your time and energy in people who genuinely care about you. Life's too short to be tangled up in someone else's web. So, untangle yourself, set those boundaries, and surround yourself with positivity. You've got this. Number 2, the perpetual critic. The perpetual critic. You know the type. They're the ones who always have something negative to say, no matter the situation. It's like they've made it their mission in life to find flaws and point them out. And trust me, it can be exhausting to deal with them. Let's dive into why these people don't deserve your trust and respect. First off, perpetual critics thrive on negativity. They're the ones who always see the glass as half empty. You could be sharing some exciting news, something you're really proud of, and there they are, ready to rain on your parade with their unsolicited critique. It's like they can't help themselves. They just have to find something wrong, something to nitpick at. These folks are often insecure. They project their own feelings of inadequacy onto others. By tearing down those around them, they feel a twisted sense of superiority. It's sad, really. Instead of focusing on improving themselves, they'd rather bring others down to their level. And the thing is, they're good at it. Their words can cut deep, leaving you questioning your worth and abilities. Ever notice how a perpetual critic never seems to offer solutions? They're quick to point out what's wrong, but they're rarely, if ever, there with constructive feedback or helpful advice. It's like they get a kick out of highlighting problems but don't have the slightest interest in fixing them. This kind of behavior is not only unproductive but downright toxic. It creates a negative environment where people feel discouraged and undervalued. One of the most frustrating things about perpetual critics is their hypocrisy. They hold others to impossibly high standards while conveniently ignoring their own flaws and mistakes. It's like they believe they're above reproach, immune to the same scrutiny they subject everyone else to. This double standard is not only unfair but also infuriating. Why should you respect someone who refuses to hold themselves to the same standards they impose on others? Let's talk about the impact on your mental health. Constant exposure to criticism can take a serious toll on your self-esteem. When you're always on the receiving end of negative comments, it's hard not to internalize them. You start doubting yourself, second-guessing your decisions, and feeling like nothing you do is ever good enough. This is not the kind of energy you need in your life. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, not drag you down. So, how do you deal with a perpetual critic? First, recognize that their behavior says more about them than it does about you. Their need to criticize stems from their own insecurities and dissatisfaction. It's not your job to fix them or to prove yourself to them. You are enough just as you are. Set boundaries. Don't allow their negativity to seep into your life. If someone is constantly criticizing you, it's okay to distance yourself. You don't owe anyone your time or energy, especially if they're making you feel bad about yourself. Surround yourself with positive, supportive people who appreciate you for who you are. Remember, constructive criticism is valuable, but there's a big difference between helpful feedback and relentless negativity. Learn to discern between the two. Take what's useful and let the rest roll off your back. You don't need to carry the weight of someone else's negativity. To conclude, life is too short to waste on people who don't appreciate you. The perpetual critic will always find something to complain about, but that doesn't mean you have to listen. Focus on your own growth, surround yourself with positivity, and let go of those who bring nothing but negativity into your life. You deserve better. And trust me, there are plenty of people out there who will see your worth and value you for exactly who you are. Number 3, the fair weather friends. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're at the top of your game. Everything's going smoothly, and you're practically walking on sunshine. Your fair weather friends are right there with you, basking in the glow of your success. They're all smiles, ready to join in on the fun. It's easy to feel surrounded by genuine support when life is a party. But what happens when the music stops? The true test of friendship isn't how people behave when things are good, it's how they act when life throws you a curveball. Fair weather friends are notorious for disappearing at the first sign of trouble. Maybe you've lost your job, gone through a breakup, or faced some other personal crisis. Suddenly, those friends who were always up for a night out are nowhere to be found. Their silence is deafening, and it stings. You see, fair weather friends are opportunists. They're drawn to the good times because it's easy. There's no effort involved in enjoying someone's company when everything is going right. But when the going gets tough, they're not interested. They don't want to deal with your problems because it's inconvenient for them. Supporting you requires effort, empathy, and sometimes sacrifice. And that's just not in their playbook. One of the most frustrating things about fair weather friends is their insincerity. They'll often come back around once your life is back on track, acting like nothing happened. They might send a casual text or drop by for a visit, hoping to slip back into your good graces. But deep down, you know that their loyalty is conditional. It's based on your circumstances, not on genuine care or commitment. This behavior can leave you feeling used and undervalued. You start to wonder if any of your friendships are real, or if people are just sticking around for the good times. It's a lonely and disheartening feeling. But recognizing these fair weather friends for who they are is a crucial step toward building more meaningful and resilient relationships. So, what do you do about it? First, take stock of your friendships. Who's been there for you during the tough times? Who's shown up when you needed them most, offering a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear? These are the people who deserve your trust and respect. They're the ones who have proven their loyalty and commitment, not just when it's convenient, but when it really counts. Next, set boundaries with fair weather friends. It's okay to distance yourself from people who only bring superficial support. You're not obligated to maintain relationships that drain you or make you feel less valued. Your time and energy are precious, and they should be reserved for those who truly care about you. Building a solid support system takes time and effort, but it's worth it. Seek out friends who share your values and are willing to weather life's storms with you. These are the relationships that will stand the test of time, providing you with the support and encouragement you need to navigate life's ups and downs. Remember, you deserve friends who are there for you through thick and thin. Don't settle for less. Fair weather friends may be fun when the sun is shining, but it's the true friends who will stick around when the clouds roll in. Cherish those genuine connections and let go of the rest. Your happiness and well-being are worth it. In a nutshell, life is about more than just the good times. It's about the journey, with all its twists and turns. Surround yourself with people who are in it for the long haul, who will celebrate your successes and support you in your struggles. Those are the friendships that matter, the ones that will enrich your life and stand the test of time. Number 4, the gossip monger. Let's talk about gossip mongers. You know the type, the ones who seem to live for the latest juicy tidbits, always whispering in corners and spreading stories faster than a wildfire. They thrive on drama and scandal, feeding off the chaos they create. These people don't deserve your trust or respect, and here's why. First off, gossip mongers are experts at deception. They wear a mask of friendliness, acting like they're genuinely interested in your life. They'll ask you about your day, your relationships, your struggles, anything that gives them fodder for their next gossip session. But beware, because the moment you confide in them, your secrets become their currency. They trade your personal stories for social capital, making themselves seem important by knowing everyone's business. It's a betrayal of trust, plain and simple. These folks are often incredibly two-faced. To your face, they're all smiles and concern, nodding sympathetically as you share your worries. But the second you're out of earshot, they're spinning your words into sensational tales. It's like they get a thrill out of twisting the truth, adding a dash of drama here, a pinch of scandal there. And before you know it, your private matters are public knowledge, distorted beyond recognition. The harm caused by gossip mongers isn't just limited to hurt feelings. Their actions can have real, tangible consequences. Relationships can be strained or even broken. Professional reputations can be damaged. Trust is eroded, not just in the gossip monger but in the entire social circle. It creates an atmosphere of suspicion and anxiety, where everyone is second-guessing what they say and to whom they say it. It's toxic. What's particularly insidious about gossip mongers is their ability to disguise their behavior as harmless fun. They might say things like, "I'm just telling you this so you're aware," or "Don't tell anyone," but they frame their gossip as concern or entertainment, masking the malicious intent behind their words. But make no mistake, their goal is to stir the pot, to create drama where there should be none. So, how do you spot a gossip monger? Pay attention to how they talk about others. Do they frequently bring up other people's personal issues? Are they quick to share stories that aren't theirs to tell? Do they revel in the misfortunes of others? If the answer is yes, you might be dealing with a gossip monger. And if they're talking about others behind their backs, you can bet they're doing the same to you. Protecting yourself from gossip mongers starts with setting boundaries. Be mindful of what you share and with whom. If you wouldn't want something broadcasted, it's best to keep it to yourself or share it with someone you truly trust. Don't give the gossip monger ammunition to use against you. It's also important to address the behavior directly if you feel comfortable doing so. Let them know that you don't appreciate their gossip and that you value privacy and respect. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, not those who seek to undermine and exploit you. Seek out friends who value honesty, loyalty, and discretion. These are the people who will stand by you, who will help you build a supportive, trustworthy community. In the end, gossip mongers add no real value to your life. They thrive on negativity and drama, dragging you down into their web of deceit and betrayal. You deserve better than that. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect and trust, where your personal matters are treated with the care and confidentiality they deserve. Don't let the gossip mongers dictate the narrative of your life. Take control, set your boundaries, and invest in the relationships that truly matter. You'll be happier and healthier for it. So, next time you encounter a gossip monger, remember this: their words are cheap, their loyalty is non-existent, and their respect is not worth earning. Focus on the people who truly care about you, and let the gossip mongers fade into the background noise where they belong. Life is too short to be bogged down by their pettiness. Choose integrity, choose authenticity, and choose to rise above the drama. You've got better things to do, and better people to spend your time with. Number 5, the narcissists. Narcissists are quite a spectacle, aren't they? At first glance, they can be incredibly charming. They're often the life of the party, radiating confidence and self-assuredness. But peel back that shiny exterior, and you'll find something far less appealing. Narcissists don't deserve your trust or respect, and once you see why, you'll be better equipped to steer clear of their toxic influence. Let's start with the basics. A narcissist is someone who's excessively preoccupied with themselves. They believe they're the center of the universe and expect everyone else to think so, too. Their needs, their wants, their feelings, those are all that matter. Your needs, your feelings, they're barely a blip on their radar, unless, of course, those can be used to further their own agenda. Narcissists are masters of manipulation. They'll use flattery, deceit, and emotional blackmail to get what they want. At first, it might seem like they genuinely care about you. They'll shower you with attention and praise, making you feel special and valued. But this is all part of their game. Once you're hooked, the mask starts to slip, and the real person behind it isn't nearly as appealing. One of the most telltale signs of a narcissist is their inability to empathize. They just can't put themselves in someone else's shoes. Your pain, your joy, your struggles, they don't really matter to them unless they somehow impact the narcissist directly. They'll often dismiss your feelings or make you feel guilty for having them. It's all about keeping the spotlight firmly on themselves. Narcissists crave admiration. They need constant validation to prop up their fragile egos. This often means they'll surround themselves with people who will feed them the adoration they crave. If you're not willing to play along, if you dare to criticize or call them out, you'll quickly find yourself on the outside. They can't handle dissent or anything that threatens their inflated self-image. One of the most damaging aspects of dealing with a narcissist is their tendency to gaslight. They'll twist reality to fit their narrative, making you doubt your own perceptions and memories. You'll find yourself constantly second-guessing, wondering if you're the one who's overreacting or being unreasonable. This is a deliberate tactic to keep you off balance and under their control. So, how do you protect yourself from a narcissist? The first step is recognizing the signs. Pay attention to how they treat others, especially those who can't do anything for them. Do they show genuine concern and empathy, or is it all about what they can gain? Do they respect boundaries, or do they bulldoze over them? Once you see the patterns, it becomes easier to detach. Setting boundaries is crucial. Narcissists will push and push, testing how far they can go. Be firm and consistent in enforcing your limits. Don't be afraid to say no, and don't feel guilty for prioritizing your own well-being. Remember, you're not responsible for catering to their endless needs. It's also important to build a support system of genuine, caring individuals. Surround yourself with people who respect you and value your feelings. They can provide a reality check when a narcissist's manipulations start to take a toll. Talking to a therapist can also be incredibly helpful in navigating these tricky dynamics. Ultimately, the key is to keep your distance. Narcissists will drain you, emotionally and mentally. They'll take and take, leaving you depleted and questioning your worth. You deserve better than that. You deserve relationships based on mutual respect and genuine care, not ones built on manipulation and self-interest. In the end, life is too short to waste on people who can't see beyond their own reflection. Narcissists may seem captivating at first, but their true colors always show eventually. Trust yourself, set your boundaries, and invest in the people who truly matter. Let the narcissists find their admirers elsewhere. You've got more important things to do and better people to spend your time with. Number 6, the flatterer. Alright, let's talk about flatterers. You know, those folks who always seem to have a compliment ready, no matter the situation. At first glance, it feels pretty good, right? Someone telling you how great you are. But hold on a second. There's more to it than meets the eye. Flattery is a tricky beast, and from a Stoic standpoint, it's a red flag waving high. First off, let's get one thing straight. Flattery is different from genuine praise. A true compliment comes from the heart, it's sincere, and often it's something you've earned. But flattery? That's a different story. It's like candy, sweet, appealing, but ultimately empty and not so good for you in the long run. Flatterers have an agenda. They're not boosting you up because they believe in you or because you've done something amazing. Nope, they're doing it because they want something from you. Maybe it's your approval, maybe it's a favor, or maybe they're just trying to weasel their way into your good graces for some future gain. It's all about them, not you. Think about it. Have you ever had someone shower you with compliments and then, out of the blue, they ask for a favor? It's like clockwork. They're buttering you up, making you feel good, so you're more likely to say yes when they need something. It's manipulative, plain and simple. And that's why Stoicism teaches us to be wary of such behavior. From a Stoic perspective, our goal is to be virtuous, to live a life of integrity and wisdom. We're not here to be swayed by every sweet word that comes our way. We're here to see things as they truly are, without the rose-colored glasses that flatterers would have us wear. Flattery clouds our judgment, and it can lead us astray from our true path. Moreover, flatterers often lack authenticity. They mold their words to fit what they think you want to hear, not what they truly believe. This lack of honesty is a big deal in Stoicism. We value truth and authenticity. We want our relationships to be based on mutual respect and honesty, not on falsehoods and deceit. Imagine a friend who always tells you what you want to hear. At first, it might feel nice. But over time, you start to realize that you can't trust their words. Are they really on your side? Do they really have your back? Or are they just telling you what they think will keep them in your good books? This kind of relationship lacks depth and genuine connection. It's built on a shaky foundation, and sooner or later, it's going to crumble. Now, let's flip the script a bit. Why do people flatter in the first place? Often, it's because they lack confidence in themselves. They feel the need to gain approval and validation from others because they don't have it within. By flattering you, they're trying to fill a void inside themselves. It's sad, really. Instead of working on their own virtues and strengths, they rely on manipulating others to feel good about themselves. So, how do we deal with flatterers? First, recognize them for what they are. Don't be swayed by their sweet talk. Look for actions, not just words. Are they genuinely supportive, or do their actions reveal a different story? Second, be honest with yourself. Are you seeking validation from their flattery? If so, it's time to turn inward and find your own worth. You don't need someone else's empty words to feel good about yourself. In conclusion, flatterers are not worthy of your trust and respect. They're playing a game, and you don't have to be a part of it. Embrace authenticity, seek out genuine relationships, and stay true to your Stoic principles. Remember, your value comes from within, not from the sweet but empty words of a flatterer. Number 7, the perpetual victim. Next, let's chat about the victim mentality. You know the type, someone who always seems to have the worst luck, who's perpetually down on their luck, and nothing ever seems to go right for them. At first, you might feel sorry for them. I mean, life can be tough, right? But hold your horses. There's more going on here than meets the eye. From a Stoic perspective, playing the victim is a behavior that raises red flags, and here's why. First things first, life isn't a bed of roses for anyone. We all face hardships, challenges, and setbacks. It's part of the human experience. But how do we respond to these challenges? That's what sets us apart. Stoicism teaches us to take ownership of our reactions, to find strength and resilience within ourselves. The perpetual victim, however, does the opposite. They wallow in self-pity, constantly seeking sympathy and attention. It's like they thrive on the drama of their own misfortunes. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone has bad days. Sometimes, you just need to vent. But there's a big difference between sharing a rough patch and consistently framing yourself as a helpless victim. The perpetual victim isn't looking for solutions or ways to improve their situation. They're looking for a spotlight, for someone to tell them, "Oh, you poor thing, you have it so tough." It's a play for attention, pure and simple. Think about it. Have you ever had a friend who always seems to have a sob story? At first, you're empathetic, you want to help. But after a while, it gets exhausting. You start to notice a pattern. No matter what advice you give, no matter what help you offer, nothing changes. They're stuck in a loop of negativity. Why? Because they're not really looking for a way out. They're comfortable in their role as the victim. It gives them an identity, a sense of being special because of their hardships. From a Stoic standpoint, this is problematic. Stoicism is all about empowerment, about taking control of your own life and your own responses. The victim mentality is the antithesis of this. It's a way of giving up your power, of saying, the world is against me, and there's nothing I can do. It's a passive approach to life, and it's not something that deserves respect or trust. Moreover, perpetual victims can be incredibly manipulative. They use their tales of woe to guilt others into doing things for them, to gain sympathy, or to avoid responsibility. It's a subtle form of control. By making you feel sorry for them, they get you to lower your guard, to give them what they want. It's a tactic, a strategy, and it's not based on genuine need or hardship. It's about maintaining a certain dynamic where they're always the needy one, and you're always the giver. Let's flip the script for a moment. Why do some people adopt this victim mentality? Often, it's rooted in a lack of self-worth. They don't believe in their own ability to overcome challenges, so they default to seeking external validation. It's easier to blame the world than to look inward and find the strength to change. It's a sad cycle, but it's not one you need to be a part of. So, how do you deal with someone who plays the victim? First, recognize the pattern. Don't get sucked into their drama. Offer help, sure, but don't let yourself be manipulated. Encourage them to take responsibility for their own life, to find their own solutions. And most importantly, set boundaries. Your time and energy are valuable. Don't let them drain you. In conclusion, those who perpetually play the victim don't deserve your trust and respect. They're caught in a loop of negativity and manipulation, and it's not your job to fix them. Focus on your own path, your own growth, and surround yourself with people who empower and inspire you. Remember, true strength comes from within, not from seeking sympathy or playing the victim. Number 8, envious individuals. Let's get real about envy. It's that sneaky little green monster that lurks in the corners of people's minds, whispering, "Why them and not me?" We've all felt it at some point, right? But living in that space, letting envy rule your thoughts and actions, well, that's a whole different ballgame. From a Stoic perspective, those who are perpetually envious don't deserve your trust or respect. Here's why. Envy isn't just a harmless feeling. It's corrosive. It eats away at a person's happiness and contentment. An envious individual can't see the good in their own life because they're too busy coveting what others have. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, they feel bitterness. That bitterness? It doesn't stay contained. It spills over into their actions and relationships. You've probably encountered someone like this. Maybe a coworker who always downplays others' achievements. Or a friend who can't be happy for you when something good happens. They might say things like, "Must be nice to get a promotion," with that sarcastic tone. It's not just a lack of support, it's active undermining. They want to pull others down to their level of discontent. And that's toxic. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own path, to cultivate inner peace and resilience. Envy is the opposite of this. It's about looking outward, constantly comparing ourselves to others. It's a recipe for unhappiness. Envious people are never satisfied. They're always chasing after what someone else has, never appreciating their own journey. This mindset is not only harmful to them but to those around them. Why don't these individuals deserve your trust? Because envy breeds deceit. An envious person might pretend to be your friend, but deep down, they're hoping for your downfall. They might spread rumors, sabotage your efforts, or give you bad advice, all because they can't stand to see you succeed. Trusting someone who's envious is like trusting a snake not to bite. It's in their nature to strike when you're not looking. Furthermore, envious individuals lack authenticity. They're too busy putting on a facade, trying to appear more successful or happier than they are. They can't be honest about their struggles or their true feelings. This lack of genuineness is a big deal in Stoicism. We value honesty, integrity, and real connections. How can you build a real connection with someone who's constantly hiding behind a mask of envy? Think about it. Genuine relationships are built on mutual respect and support. You want friends who lift you up, not drag you down. Envious people can't do that. Their own insecurities prevent them from being truly supportive. They're too wrapped up in their own negative emotions to genuinely care about others. And that's sad, really. They're missing out on the joy of celebrating others' successes, of being part of a supportive community. So, what can you do when you encounter envy in others? First, recognize it. Don't ignore those subtle digs or the lack of genuine support. See it for what it is. Second, set boundaries. Protect your energy and your achievements. You don't need that negativity in your life. And finally, lead by example. Show them what true contentment and self-assurance look like. Maybe, just maybe, they'll learn to shift their focus inward, to appreciate their own journey instead of envying someone else's. In conclusion, envious individuals don't deserve your trust and respect. Their negativity and deceit can undermine your own peace and happiness. Focus on cultivating relationships with those who are genuinely supportive and authentic. Remember, your worth isn't measured by comparisons with others, but by your own inner strength and resilience. Stay true to your Stoic principles, and let go of the green-eyed monster for good. Number 9. Judgmental individuals. Next, let's talk about judgmental people. You know, the ones who always seem to have an opinion on everything and everyone. They've got their noses in the air and their fingers ready to point. At first, their critiques might seem insightful, maybe even helpful. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find there's more to their judgments than meets the eye. From a Stoic viewpoint, these folks don't deserve your trust and respect, and here's why. First off, let's get something straight. Having opinions is one thing, but constantly judging others is a whole different beast. Judgmental individuals are like self-appointed critics, always ready to pounce on someone's flaws. They're quick to highlight mistakes, slow to offer praise, and even slower to look in the mirror. It's like they've got a permanent magnifying glass, zooming in on every little imperfection. And guess what? It's exhausting. Why do these people act this way? Often, it's a reflection of their own insecurities. By putting others down, they feel a bit taller, a bit more in control. It's a defense mechanism. Instead of addressing their own shortcomings, they focus on everyone else's. It's easier, less painful. But it's also incredibly toxic. It creates an environment of negativity, where no one feels safe from criticism. Now, imagine having a friend who's always judgmental. Every time you make a decision, big or small, they've got something to say. Bought a new outfit? That color doesn't suit you. Tried a new hobby? You're not very good at that. It's relentless. Over time, this constant stream of negativity wears you down. You start second-guessing yourself, doubting your choices. It's like walking on eggshells, always fearing the next critique. Who needs that kind of pressure? From a Stoic perspective, this is the opposite of how we should live. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own virtues, our own path, and to cultivate inner peace. being judgmental distracts us from this goal. It's a waste of energy. Instead of improving ourselves, we're busy tearing others down. And for what? A fleeting sense of superiority? Moreover, judgmental individuals lack empathy. They're so caught up in their own opinions that they fail to see things from another's perspective. They don't understand the struggles, the context, the reasons behind someone's actions. They just judge, plain and simple. This lack of empathy is a major red flag. How can you trust someone who can't put themselves in your shoes? How can you respect someone who's quick to judge but slow to understand? Think about it. Genuine relationships are built on trust, empathy, and mutual respect. You want friends who support you, who understand you, and who lift you up, not tear you down. Judgmental people can't offer that. Their constant critiques create a barrier, a wall that prevents real connection. They're too busy pointing out flaws to appreciate the whole person. So, how do you handle judgmental individuals? First, recognize their behavior for what it is, a reflection of their own insecurities. Don't take their judgments to heart. Easier said than done, I know, but it's crucial. Second, set boundaries. Protect your peace. You don't need that negativity in your life. And lastly, lead by example. Show empathy, understanding, and kindness. Maybe, just maybe, they'll learn from your example and soften their judgmental ways. In conclusion, judgmental individuals don't deserve your trust and respect. Their constant criticism and lack of empathy create a toxic environment that stifles growth and happiness. Focus on building relationships with those who understand and support you. Remember, your worth isn't defined by others' judgments, but by your own virtues and actions. Stay true to your Stoic principles, and let the judgments of others roll off your back. Number 10. Unreliable people. Finally, let's discuss unreliable people. You know, the ones who are always late, always flaking out, and always making promises they can't keep. At first, you might cut them some slack, everyone has their off days, right? But when it becomes a pattern, it's a whole different story. From a Stoic standpoint, these folks don't deserve your trust or respect. Here's why. First off, reliability is a cornerstone of any solid relationship, whether it's with friends, family, or colleagues. When someone says they'll do something and then doesn't follow through, it creates a ripple of disappointment and frustration. Imagine planning a project with someone who always bails at the last minute. It's like building a house on quicksand. No matter how much effort you put in, it all collapses when the foundation isn't solid. Stoicism teaches us the importance of consistency and integrity. Being reliable is part of that. It's about aligning your actions with your words. Unreliable people, however, are all talk. They promise the moon and stars but deliver, well, nothing. And that's a problem. It's not just about the inconvenience. It's about trust. How can you trust someone who's constantly letting you down? Think about the last time someone flaked on you. Maybe it was a friend who promised to help you move but never showed up. Or a colleague who said they'd cover a shift and then called in sick. It's frustrating, sure. But it also chips away at your respect for them. You start to see them as unreliable, and that's hard to come back from. Unreliable people often have a million excuses. Something came up, I forgot, I'm just so busy. But here's the thing, everyone's busy. We all have a lot on our plates. The difference is, reliable people make it work. They manage their time, set priorities, and stick to their commitments. They understand that their word is their bond. From a Stoic perspective, this is crucial. Stoicism is all about self-discipline and accountability. If you say you'll do something, do it. It's as simple as that. Unreliable people lack this discipline. They're swayed by every whim, every little distraction. They don't have that inner strength to stay committed. And that's why they don't deserve your trust. Let's flip the script for a moment. Why are some people so unreliable? Often, it's because they don't value their own time and commitments. If they don't respect their own promises, how can they respect yours? It's a lack of self-awareness and discipline. They might not even realize the impact their flakiness has on others. But ignorance isn't an excuse. So, how do you handle unreliable people? First, recognize the pattern. Don't keep making excuses for them. See their behavior for what it is. Second, set boundaries. Protect your time and energy. If someone has let you down multiple times, stop relying on them. Find people who are dependable and trustworthy. And finally, communicate. Let them know how their actions affect you. Maybe they'll take it to heart and start making changes. But if not, at least you've done your part. In conclusion, unreliable people don't deserve your trust and respect. Their lack of consistency and commitment creates chaos and frustration. Focus on building relationships with those who are dependable and trustworthy. Remember, your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on people who can't keep their word. Stay true to your Stoic principles, and surround yourself with those who do the same. In the last section we will discuss Stoic lessons for not letting people use you. Number 1. Set clear boundaries. Setting clear boundaries is like drawing a line in the sand. It's about protecting your personal space and energy. Imagine you're a castle with a moat around it. Without a drawbridge and some knights patrolling the walls, anyone could waltz in and mess with your inner peace. So, how do you keep the undesirable out? You build those boundaries strong and steady. First things first, know your limits. We often ignore our own thresholds, letting people encroach on our time and energy. But here's the thing, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take some time to understand where your limits lie. Maybe you can't handle back-to-back meetings without a breather, or perhaps you need quiet time after social events to recharge. Recognize these needs and honor them. Now, the tricky part, communicating these boundaries. It might feel awkward at first, like you're being too rigid or unfriendly. But it's not about being mean, it's about being real with yourself and others. When you say no to someone, you're actually saying yes to your well-being. Think of it as a filter, keeping out what doesn't serve you. The more you practice this, the easier it gets. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly. A simple, firm "I can't make it" or "I'm not comfortable with that" is enough. Trust me, most people will respect your honesty, even if they grumble a bit. And those who don't, well, they're showing you they don't respect your space, and that's a clear sign they don't deserve a spot in your castle. Consistency is your ally here. If you waver or make exceptions too often, people might push back, thinking your boundaries are negotiable. Stand firm. Imagine your boundaries like a muscle. The more you exercise them, the stronger they become. Over time, people will get the message, and you'll find your circle respects your limits more naturally. But what happens if someone steps over the line? It's bound to happen. People test boundaries, sometimes unintentionally. When it does, address it calmly but firmly. You could say something like, "Hey, I mentioned before that I need my weekends free. I need you to respect that." It's not about conflict, it's about clarity. And remember, boundaries aren't just about keeping people out, they're also about letting the right people in. When you're clear about your limits, you attract those who respect and value them. It's a way of setting a standard for how you want to be treated. You're telling the world, "This is how I expect to be respected, and this is how I'll respect you." It's also important to revisit and revise your boundaries. Life changes, and so do our needs. Maybe you were okay with something last year, but now it drains you. Adjust accordingly. Boundaries are fluid, not set in stone. They grow with you. In essence, setting clear boundaries is about self-respect. It's about recognizing your worth and protecting your energy. It's not selfish, it's essential. When you respect your own limits, you teach others to do the same. You create a space where you can thrive, not just survive. So, be that castle with a moat. Keep your drawbridge ready to lower for those who respect your space and lift it for those who don't. In doing so, you'll find more peace, more energy, and more joy in your daily life. And that's a win in anyone's book. Number 2, cultivate detachment. Cultivating detachment might sound like turning into a robot, but it's far from that. Think of it more like being a surfer riding the waves instead of getting tossed around by them. Life throws a lot at us: emotions, dramas, other people's issues, and without some detachment, it's easy to get swept away. So, how do we keep our cool and not let others pull us into their chaos? Start by recognizing what you can control and what you can't. This is the essence of detachment. Imagine you're holding 2 buckets. One is for things you can control, like your actions, reactions, and thoughts. The other is for things you can't, like other people's opinions, actions, or even the weather. Now, only focus on filling up that first bucket. The second one? Let it be. This shift in focus does wonders. You stop wasting energy on things beyond your grasp, and suddenly, life feels lighter. It's like decluttering your mind. When you're not bogged down by every little thing, you find more room for peace and joy. Next, practice the art of observing without absorbing. Picture yourself as a movie critic watching a film. You see the plot twists and turns, the drama, the tension, but you're not in the movie. You're just watching it. When someone's throwing negativity your way or trying to drag you into their mess, take a step back. Watch it unfold without jumping into the fray. This doesn't mean you don't care, it means you're protecting your energy. Detachment also involves letting go of the need for validation. It's tempting to seek approval, to want others to like and understand us. But here's the kicker: not everyone will, and that's okay. When you detach from this need, you find freedom. Your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. You become your own anchor, steady and unshaken by the waves of external judgment. Emotions are another area where detachment can play a big role. Feelings are powerful, but they don't have to control you. Think of them as visitors knocking on your door. You acknowledge them, maybe even invite them in for a bit, but you don't let them overstay their welcome. They come and go, but you remain. Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It's about finding balance. You can still be compassionate and caring, but with boundaries. You can listen to someone's problems without taking them on as your own. It's like lending a helping hand without getting pulled into quicksand. Remember, detachment is a practice, not a one-time fix. It takes time and patience. Start small. Maybe today you decide not to get upset over a minor inconvenience. Tomorrow, you might choose to let go of a lingering grudge. Each step builds your detachment muscle, making you stronger and more resilient. One more thing, detachment helps you stay present. When you're not entangled in worries about the future or regrets about the past, you can fully embrace the now. You see things more clearly, react more calmly, and live more fully. It's like tuning into the present moment and finding peace there. So, embrace detachment. Be the surfer riding the waves, not the one getting tossed around. Keep your focus on what you can control, observe without absorbing, and let go of the need for external validation. With time, you'll find that this practice brings a sense of calm and clarity, helping you navigate life's ups and downs with grace and ease. And in doing so, you protect your energy, your peace, and your well-being. Number 3, know your worth. Knowing your worth is like holding a treasure map to your own value. It's about recognizing that you bring something unique and irreplaceable to the table. But let's face it, this isn't always easy. Doubts creep in, comparisons flood your mind, and suddenly, you're questioning your value. So, how do you get past that and truly understand your worth? First, let's talk about self-reflection. Think of it as polishing a mirror so you can see yourself clearly. Take some quiet time to consider your strengths, talents, and qualities. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What makes you, well, you? Write it down if it helps. The point is to get a clear picture of your own assets. Now, here's the trick: you have to believe in what you see. It's one thing to acknowledge your strengths, it's another to actually believe they matter. Think of your worth as an internal compass. When you believe in it, it guides you. You start to trust your decisions more, and you stop seeking external validation. You don't need someone else to tell you you're valuable, you already know it. But knowing your worth isn't about ego. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about understanding that you have inherent value simply because you exist. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You're valuable as you are. This mindset shift is crucial. It moves you from a place of insecurity to a place of confidence. When you know your worth, you start setting higher standards for how you're treated. You won't settle for less because you know you deserve more. This is where boundaries come into play. If someone tries to undermine your value or take advantage of you, you'll recognize it quickly. And because you know your worth, you'll stand up for yourself. You won't let anyone diminish your light. Think about how you talk to yourself. Are you kind and encouraging, or do you often criticize and doubt? Your self-talk matters. Positive affirmations might sound cheesy, but they work. Remind yourself daily of your worth. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Knowing your worth also means taking care of yourself. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days. It's about nourishing your mind, body, and spirit. Eat well, exercise, get enough sleep, and do things that make you happy. When you take care of yourself, you reinforce your own value. You're saying, "I'm worth this time and effort." Surround yourself with people who recognize your worth, too. Energy is contagious. If you're around people who appreciate and uplift you, it's easier to see your own value. Conversely, if you're around those who constantly bring you down, it can chip away at your self-esteem. Choose your company wisely. Here's a fun exercise. Envision your future self, the person you want to become. What does that version of you look like? How do they act? What do they believe about themselves? Start embodying those traits now. Act as if you're already that person. This not only boosts your confidence but also aligns your actions with your worth. Lastly, let go of the fear of judgment. People will always have opinions, but their opinions don't define you. Your worth isn't up for debate. It's intrinsic. When you stop worrying about what others think, you free yourself to be truly authentic. And authenticity? That's where real power lies. In the end, knowing your worth is a journey, not a destination. It's about continually discovering and embracing who you are. It's about standing tall in your own light and not letting anyone dim it. So, treasure yourself, believe in your unique value, and watch as the world begins to reflect that belief back to you. Number 4, practice deliberate silence. Practicing deliberate silence might seem like a strange concept at first. I mean, we're social creatures, right? Always chatting, sharing thoughts, and filling the air with words. But here's the kicker, sometimes, saying nothing can be the most powerful thing you do. Silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's a tool. A really, really potent one. Let's break it down. In today's world, where everyone is constantly talking, tweeting, and texting, silence can stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. It commands attention. When you choose to be silent, you're making a statement. You're saying, I don't need to fill this space with words. It's a power move, really. Silence can be your shield and sword, protecting your energy and slicing through the noise. But why should you practice deliberate silence? Well, for starters, it gives you a chance to think. Like, really think. Without the pressure to respond immediately, you can process what's being said, weigh your options, and come up with a thoughtful reply. Or sometimes, you realize that no reply is needed at all. Silence can often speak louder than words, conveying confidence and wisdom. When you're silent, you're also listening. Not just hearing the words, but truly listening. You pick up on nuances, the things people say between the lines. This deepens your understanding and gives you an edge. People feel valued when they know they're being listened to, which builds stronger connections and mutual respect. Silence can also be a boundary. It says, I'm not engaging in this. Whether it's a toxic conversation, a pointless argument, or someone trying to use you, your silence can be a firm but polite no. It's like putting up a do not disturb sign. You're taking control of the interaction by not feeding into it. Now, this doesn't mean you should be silent all the time. It's about choosing your moments. Deliberate silence is intentional. Maybe it's taking a few seconds before responding to a question, or choosing not to engage in gossip. It's about being mindful of your words and valuing them. Think of your words as currency. Spend them wisely. When you practice deliberate silence, you're not being passive, you're being strategic. You're conserving your energy and using it where it truly matters. It's a way of respecting yourself and the power of your words. In social settings, silence can create a sense of mystery. People are often intrigued by those who don't overshare. It can make your words, when you do speak, carry more weight. Imagine you're at a meeting. Everyone's throwing out ideas left and right. Then, you take a moment of silence before presenting your thoughts. That pause? It grabs attention. Your idea now has a stage. Practicing deliberate silence also means you're comfortable with yourself. You're not rushing to fill the space because silence doesn't make you uncomfortable. It shows confidence. You're at peace with your own company and thoughts. This can be incredibly empowering. And let's not forget the inner peace it brings. Silence is a form of self-care. It's a break from the constant chatter, giving your mind a chance to rest. You become more attuned to your inner voice, your intuition. It's like clearing the clutter from a room, making space for clarity and insight. In essence, deliberate silence is a powerful practice. It helps you listen more deeply, think more clearly, and respond more thoughtfully. It's a way of setting boundaries and commanding respect. So, next time you find yourself about to fill the silence with unnecessary words, pause. Embrace the quiet. Let it work its magic. You'll be surprised at how much more powerful and respected your words become when they're chosen with care and intention. Number 5. Prioritize inner peace. Prioritizing inner peace might sound like a luxury in our fast-paced world, but it's more of a necessity. It's the foundation for a balanced and fulfilling life. Think of inner peace as your personal sanctuary, a place you can retreat to no matter what chaos is happening around you. But how do you cultivate this sanctuary, and why is it so crucial for not letting people use you? First off, inner peace starts with self-awareness. It's about knowing what disrupts your peace and taking steps to protect it. Maybe it's toxic people, stressful environments, or even your own overthinking. Identifying these peace stealers is the first step. Once you know what disturbs your tranquility, you can take action to minimize their impact. Now, imagine you're a tree in a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, but your roots are deep and strong. That's what inner peace does for you. It grounds you, making you resilient against external turmoil. When you prioritize your peace, you're less likely to be swayed by others' demands or manipulations. You become centered, and it's harder for people to knock you off balance. One way to nurture inner peace is through mindfulness. Sounds fancy, but it's really just about being present. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and just be. This simple practice can work wonders. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind. When you're mindful, you're more aware of your reactions and less likely to get caught up in unnecessary drama. Speaking of drama, let's talk about detachment. No, not the cold, unfeeling kind. It's more about not letting external events dictate your inner state. You acknowledge what's happening, but you don't let it control your emotions. Think of it as watching clouds pass by. You see them, but you're not chasing after them. This kind of detachment helps maintain your inner calm. Boundaries are another crucial aspect. They're like the walls around your sanctuary, keeping out what doesn't serve you. When you have clear boundaries, you protect your peace. You learn to say no without guilt, to step back when needed, and to prioritize your well-being. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they're about keeping your space sacred. Inner peace also involves forgiveness, not for others, but for yourself. We often carry guilt, regrets, and what-ifs that clutter our minds. Letting go of these burdens frees up mental space. It's like clearing out a messy room. Suddenly, there's more room to breathe, think, and simply be. Forgive yourself for past mistakes, and embrace the present moment. Creating a peaceful environment is also key. Surround yourself with things that bring you joy and calm. Maybe it's a cozy nook with your favorite books, a plant-filled space, or even just a clutter-free desk. Your surroundings can greatly influence your mental state, so make your environment a reflection of the peace you seek. And let's not forget the importance of self-care. This goes beyond the occasional bubble bath. It's about consistently nurturing your body, mind, and soul. Eat nourishing foods, get enough sleep, move your body, and engage in activities that uplift you. When you take care of yourself, you're telling yourself that you matter. This reinforces your inner peace. Lastly, embrace gratitude. It's a powerful tool for cultivating peace. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. It's like switching on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, things don't seem so overwhelming. Gratitude grounds you in the present and fills you with a sense of contentment. In a nutshell, prioritizing inner peace is about creating a strong, resilient foundation. It's about knowing what disturbs your peace and taking steps to protect it. Through mindfulness, detachment, boundaries, forgiveness, a peaceful environment, self-care, and gratitude, you build a sanctuary within yourself. And when your inner world is calm and centered, it's much harder for others to use or manipulate you. You stand firm, rooted in your own peace. Number 6. Limit social obligations. Limiting social obligations might sound like you're shutting yourself off from the world, but it's actually about preserving your sanity. Imagine your time and energy are like precious resources. If you keep spending them on every single social event or obligation, you'll run out pretty quickly. The key is to be selective and intentional about where and with whom you invest your time. First off, let's get real about why we often feel obligated to say yes to social invitations. It's that sneaky little thing called FOMO, or fear of missing out. We worry that if we skip a party or a get-together, we'll be left out, miss something important, or worse, be seen as antisocial. But here's a truth bomb. Your true friends will understand your need for space. And as for the rest, their opinions don't matter as much as you think. So, how do you start limiting these obligations without feeling like a jerk? Begin by prioritizing what truly matters to you. Not all social events are created equal. Some nourish your soul, while others drain you. Take a moment to reflect on the types of gatherings that energize you versus those that leave you feeling exhausted. Maybe it's the difference between a small dinner with close friends and a massive party where you barely know anyone. Choose the former more often. Next, embrace the art of saying no. This might feel awkward at first, but it's liberating. You don't owe anyone an explanation. A simple, "I'm not able to make it, but thanks for the invite," is perfectly fine. The more you practice this, the easier it gets. Think of it as a muscle you're strengthening. Over time, people will respect your boundaries more, and you'll feel less pressure to attend everything. Another tip? Schedule downtime like you would any other important event. Block out periods in your calendar just for yourself. Treat this time as sacred. Use it to recharge, relax, and do whatever makes you happy. When you have dedicated downtime, you'll find that you're more present and engaged when you do choose to be social. It's also crucial to manage expectations. Sometimes, we feel obligated because we think others expect us to be there. But often, these expectations are self-imposed. Communicate your boundaries clearly with friends and family. Let them know that while you value their company, you also need time to yourself. Most people will appreciate your honesty and may even be inspired to set their own boundaries. And let's talk about quality over quantity. Deep, meaningful connections are far more fulfilling than a plethora of shallow ones. Focus on nurturing relationships that bring joy, support, and understanding into your life. These are the connections worth your time and energy. Don't spread yourself too thin trying to maintain every single social tie. Remember, limiting social obligations doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It's about being mindful of where you allocate your social energy. It's okay to miss a few events. The world won't end, and you might find you enjoy your social interactions more when they're less frequent but more meaningful. Now, what about those unavoidable obligations, like family gatherings or work events? For these, try setting time limits. You don't have to stay for the entire duration. Make an appearance, engage meaningfully for a bit, and then give yourself permission to leave. This way, you're honoring the obligation without feeling trapped. In the end, it's all about balance. You deserve to enjoy your own company and protect your peace. By limiting social obligations, you're taking a stand for your well-being. You're saying that your time and energy are valuable, and not everything or everyone deserves a piece of it. This isn't selfish, it's self-care. So, next time you're tempted to say yes to every invite, pause, consider your needs, and choose what truly serves you. Number 7, avoid flattery and manipulation. Avoiding flattery and manipulation is like dodging emotional quicksand. It's about keeping your feet on solid ground and not getting sucked into someone else's agenda. Let's be real, everyone likes to hear nice things about themselves. Compliments are great, but there's a line between genuine praise and flattery meant to manipulate. So, how do you spot the difference and protect yourself? First, tune into your gut feelings. Your instincts are like an internal radar, picking up on subtle vibes that your brain might overlook. If someone's compliments feel a little too sugary or their praise is just a bit over the top, trust that feeling. Genuine compliments make you feel warm and appreciated, while flattery often feels a bit sticky, like there's something more behind it. Next, consider the source. Who's doing the flattering? Do they usually give praise freely, or is this out of character? If someone who never has a nice word to say suddenly starts showering you with compliments, it's worth raising an eyebrow. Flattery from someone with a history of manipulation or ulterior motives should definitely set off alarm bells. Let's also talk about timing. When does flattery occur? If it pops up right before they ask for a favor or need something from you, it's likely strategic. They're buttering you up to get what they want. This kind of manipulation is sneaky, making it harder to say no because, hey, they just made you feel good about yourself. Recognizing this pattern helps you stay grounded and see the situation for what it is. Another tip is to watch for consistency. Genuine praise is usually based on real achievements or qualities, and it's consistent over time. Flattery, on the other hand, can be inconsistent and often exaggerated. If someone's words don't match up with their past behavior or seem overly dramatic, take a step back. They might be trying to sway you for their benefit. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of why people use flattery. It's a form of control. By making you feel good, they hope to influence your actions and decisions. It's like dangling a carrot in front of a horse. When you're aware of this tactic, you can better resist the pull. You're not that horse chasing the carrot, you're smarter than that. Boundaries are your best defense here. When you know your worth, you're less likely to be swayed by others' opinions. You don't need external validation to feel good about yourself. This internal strength makes it easier to spot manipulation and stand firm. When someone tries to flatter their way into your good graces, you can acknowledge the compliment without letting it cloud your judgment. It's also important to stay humble and self-aware. Flattery can inflate your ego, making you more susceptible to manipulation. Keep your feet on the ground. Accept genuine praise graciously, but don't let it go to your head. Maintain a balanced view of yourself and your achievements. This balanced perspective keeps you grounded and less likely to be thrown off course by flattery. Remember, you have the power to say no. It's a small word but a mighty shield. If someone's flattery feels manipulative, you can politely decline their requests. You don't owe anyone anything just because they praised you. Your worth isn't tied to their words. Finally, surround yourself with honest people. True friends and colleagues will give you genuine feedback, both good and bad. They won't use flattery to manipulate you. Instead, they'll support and challenge you in equal measure. These are the voices you should listen to, the ones that keep you real and grounded. In the end, avoiding flattery and manipulation is about staying true to yourself. Trust your instincts, set strong boundaries, and keep a balanced perspective. When you do, you'll find it much harder for others to use you. You'll stand firm, rooted in your own worth and wisdom, and that's a powerful place to be. Number 8, focus on long-term goals. Focusing on long-term goals is like planting a tree. You nurture it, care for it, and patiently wait as it grows. In a world where instant gratification reigns supreme, keeping your eyes on the distant horizon can be challenging but incredibly rewarding. It's about playing the long game and not getting sidetracked by short-term distractions. So, why are long-term goals so vital? For starters, they provide direction and purpose. Think of them as your North Star, guiding you through the ups and downs of life. When you have clear, long-term objectives, you're less likely to be swayed by the whims and desires of others. You're on a mission, and your focus is sharp. But let's be honest. Sticking to long-term goals requires discipline and perseverance. It's easy to get lured away by shiny, immediate rewards. That's where the Stoic mindset comes into play. By focusing on what truly matters in the long run, you train yourself to look beyond the here and now. It's about building a legacy, not just enjoying fleeting moments of success. One way to stay on track is by breaking down your big goals into smaller, manageable steps. This makes the journey less daunting and more achievable. Each small victory brings you closer to your ultimate objective. It's like assembling a puzzle piece by piece. With each addition, the bigger picture becomes clearer. Now, distractions are everywhere. People will try to pull you into their plans, projects, and dramas. This is where your long-term focus acts as a shield. When you know where you're headed, it's easier to say no to things that don't align with your goals. You become more discerning about where you invest your time and energy. But focusing on long-term goals isn't just about saying no, it's also about saying yes to the right things. Opportunities that align with your vision should be embraced. They're the stepping stones on your path. It's about striking a balance between staying true to your goals and being open to new possibilities that can help you achieve them. Staying motivated over the long haul can be tough. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. This is where resilience comes in. Every setback is a lesson, a chance to grow stronger and wiser. By viewing obstacles as opportunities, you maintain your forward momentum. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Another key aspect is surrounding yourself with supportive people. Those who understand and respect your goals will encourage you to stay on course. They'll remind you of your why when things get tough. Conversely, steer clear of naysayers and energy drainers. They can derail your focus and sap your motivation. Visualization is a powerful tool. Regularly picturing your long-term success can keep you inspired and driven. Imagine what achieving your goals will feel like, look like, and mean for you. This mental rehearsal helps solidify your commitment and keeps the fire burning. Keep track of your progress. It's easy to lose sight of how far you've come when you're focused on how far you still have to go. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small. They're proof that you're moving in the right direction. In essence, focusing on long-term goals is about patience, persistence, and perspective. It's about keeping your eyes on the prize and not getting sidetracked by immediate temptations or other people's agendas. When you stay true to your vision, you build a life that's meaningful and fulfilling. So, plant that tree, water it diligently, and watch as it grows into something magnificent, standing tall and strong for years to come. Number 9. Build a supportive network. Building a supportive network is like creating a fortress of positive energy around you. It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, encourage your growth, and help you stand strong against life's challenges. So, how do you go about constructing this network of allies and confidants? Let's dive in. First off, let's be real about the importance of quality over quantity. It's not about how many people you know, but who you know. You want folks who genuinely care about your well-being, not just acquaintances or fair-weather friends. These are the people who will have your back when the going gets tough and celebrate your wins with genuine joy. Start by identifying the positive influences in your life. Who are the people that inspire you, motivate you, and make you feel good about yourself? These are the gems you want to keep close. Reach out to them, nurture those relationships, and let them know how much you value their presence in your life. It's a two-way street, so be there for them as much as they are for you. Now, let's talk about boundaries. A supportive network isn't just about having people around, it's about having the right people around. You need to set boundaries to protect your energy and time. This means recognizing when a relationship is draining or toxic and having the courage to step back. It's not about cutting people off abruptly, but about prioritizing your mental and emotional health. Communication is key. Open, honest, and respectful communication forms the backbone of any supportive network. Be clear about your needs and listen actively to others. It's about creating a safe space where everyone feels heard and valued. This mutual respect and understanding strengthen the bonds and make the network resilient. Another important aspect is finding common ground. Shared interests and goals can be a powerful glue that holds your network together. Whether it's a hobby, a professional interest, or a personal goal, having something in common fosters a deeper connection. It's easier to support each other when you're on similar paths or share similar values. Be proactive in building your network. Don't wait for people to come to you. Attend events, join clubs or groups that align with your interests, and don't be afraid to strike up conversations. Networking can feel daunting, but think of it as planting seeds. Some might not grow, but others will blossom into beautiful, supportive relationships. Vulnerability plays a crucial role too. Don't be afraid to share your struggles and challenges with your network. It's through vulnerability that deep connections are formed. When you open up, you invite others to do the same, creating a circle of trust and support. It's about being human and recognizing that we all need help sometimes. Diversity is another strength. A supportive network isn't a group of clones, it's a mix of different perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds. This diversity enriches your life and provides a broader support base. Different people bring different strengths, and this collective wisdom can help you navigate various aspects of your life. Consistency is vital. Regularly check in with your network, even if it's just a quick message or call. Show appreciation for their support and be there for them. Relationships need nurturing, and a little effort goes a long way in maintaining strong connections. Finally, remember to give back. Supportive networks thrive on reciprocity. Offer your help, lend an ear, and be a source of encouragement for others. When you give genuinely, you strengthen the bond and create a positive feedback loop of support and goodwill. In the end, building a supportive network is about creating a circle of positivity and strength around you. It's about fostering relationships that empower you, uplift you, and help you grow. With the right people by your side, you'll find it much easier to navigate life's challenges and protect yourself from those who might try to use you. So, invest in your network, cherish your connections, and watch as your fortress of support grows stronger every day. Number 10. Seek wisdom and knowledge. Seeking wisdom and knowledge is like setting out on an epic adventure. It's about constantly exploring, learning, and growing, not just for the sake of knowing more but to fortify yourself against being taken advantage of. When you arm yourself with wisdom, you become harder to manipulate, more discerning, and much better equipped to navigate the complexities of life. First off, let's get one thing straight. Wisdom and knowledge are two sides of the same coin. Knowledge is about gathering information, facts, and skills. It's the raw material. Wisdom, on the other hand, is the ability to apply that knowledge in a meaningful way. It's knowing when and how to use what you've learned. Think of knowledge as the seeds and wisdom as the flourishing garden. Now, where do you start on this journey? Books are a fantastic launchpad. They're like time machines, offering insights from the greatest minds across history. Pick up a variety of genres: philosophy, science, literature, self-help. Don't limit yourself to one field. The broader your reading, the more dots you'll be able to connect. Each book is a conversation with the author, a chance to glean a piece of their wisdom. But don't stop there. Engage with different media. Listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, and attend lectures. The goal is to soak in knowledge from every possible source. Each new piece of information adds a layer to your understanding, making you more well-rounded and harder to fool. Critical thinking is your best friend on this quest. It's not enough to just absorb information, you need to analyze and question it. Be curious. Ask why and how. Challenge assumptions and explore different viewpoints. This sharpens your mind and helps you see through the noise. It's like having a built-in radar for spotting BS. Discussions with others can also be enlightening. Surround yourself with people who challenge you intellectually. Engage in debates and thoughtful conversations. Listen as much as you speak. This exchange of ideas not only broadens your perspective but also hones your ability to communicate and defend your views. It's like mental sparring, keeping you sharp and agile. Travel, if you can. Experiencing different cultures and ways of life is a profound way to gain wisdom. It opens your eyes to the vastness of human experience and teaches you to appreciate diversity. Every place you visit, every person you meet, adds to your repository of knowledge and wisdom. Don't forget self-reflection. Spend time contemplating what you've learned and how it applies to your life. Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Write down your thoughts, your questions, your realizations. This process of introspection helps crystallize your knowledge into wisdom. It's like distilling a complex brew into a fine spirit. Embrace lifelong learning. Wisdom isn't a destination, it's a journey. Stay curious and open-minded. Take courses, learn new skills, and never stop exploring. The more you know, the more you realize how much there is to learn. It's a humbling and empowering realization. Now, why is all this so important for not letting people use you? Knowledge and wisdom are like armor. When you're well-informed and wise, you're less likely to be swayed by sweet talk or deceit. You see through manipulation and recognize when someone's trying to pull a fast one. You become more confident in your decisions and less dependent on others for validation. Moreover, wisdom helps you understand yourself better. You become aware of your strengths, weaknesses, and values. This self-awareness makes you less susceptible to being used because you know what you stand for and what you won't tolerate. You're like a well-rooted tree, firm and unyielding in the face of storms. In essence, seeking wisdom and knowledge empowers you. It equips you with the tools to navigate life's challenges and protect yourself from those who might try to take advantage. So, embark on this adventure with enthusiasm. Read widely, think critically, engage deeply, and reflect often. Each step you take on this path makes you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Number 11. Prioritize your time. Prioritizing your time is like mastering the art of juggling. You've got a million things vying for your attention, and without a game plan, it's easy to drop the ball. Your time is your most precious resource, and once it's gone, there's no getting it back. So, how do you make sure you're spending it wisely and not letting others hijack it? First things first, get clear on what matters most to you. This might seem obvious, but it's worth sitting down and really thinking about it. What are your goals, your passions, the things that make you tick? These are your top priorities. Write them down. When you know what's important, it's easier to focus your time and energy on these things and say no to distractions. Now, let's talk about saying no. It's a small word, but it packs a punch. People will constantly try to pull you into their plans, projects, and problems. If you're not careful, you'll find your schedule filled with commitments that don't serve your interests or goals. Practice the art of the polite decline. I appreciate the offer, but I can't commit to that right now works wonders. Remember, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Make sure your yes are worth it. A great way to keep track of your priorities is by using a planner or calendar. Plan your week in advance, blocking out time for your most important tasks and activities. This helps you stay on track and ensures you're dedicating time to what truly matters. It's like drawing a roadmap for your week, guiding you through the chaos. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, endless notifications, and random interruptions can eat up your time before you know it. Create a distraction-free environment when working on important tasks. Turn off notifications, set boundaries with those around you, and focus on one thing at a time. It's amazing how much more you can accomplish when you're not constantly pulled in different directions. Let's not forget about the importance of downtime. Rest and relaxation are crucial for maintaining your energy and focus. Schedule regular breaks and time for yourself. Whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or simply doing nothing, make sure you're taking time to recharge. It's not just about being productive, it's about maintaining your well-being. Another tip is to delegate when possible. You don't have to do everything yourself. If there are tasks that others can handle, let them. This frees up your time for more important things. Delegation isn't about shirking responsibility, it's about being strategic with your time. Be mindful of time thieves. These are activities or people that consistently drain your time without giving much in return. It could be a colleague who loves to chat, meetings that could be emails, or tasks that don't align with your goals. Identify these time thieves and find ways to minimize their impact. Set boundaries, streamline processes, and stay focused on your priorities. Prioritizing your time also means being flexible. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go as planned. Be ready to adjust and adapt. If something unexpected comes up, reassess your schedule and make the necessary changes. Flexibility ensures you're not thrown off course by every little hiccup. Lastly, remember that your time is yours. You have the power to decide how you spend it. Don't let others guilt you into giving it away. Be assertive about your boundaries and protect your schedule fiercely. When you value your time, others will too. In a nutshell, prioritizing your time is about knowing what's important, staying focused, and being strategic with your commitments. It's about saying no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. By mastering this, you ensure that your time is spent in ways that enrich your life and help you achieve your goals. So, take control of your schedule, guard your time, and watch as you become more productive and fulfilled. And there you have it, the Stoic secrets to mastering the art of not caring. If you're ready to embrace true freedom and live life on your own terms, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more empowering content. What resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and remember, your peace of mind is in your hands. Stay stoic, stay true, and see you in the next video.